Muted.
We've got a really diverse group this morning, and looks like what is a pretty big crowd. So as we proceed through the presentation, as you have questions, if you could direct them to the organizer in the GoToMeeting chat window, and we'll pick them up in a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. Before we start on KastlePresence, I'd like to take a moment to discuss with you who Kastle is today. I started at Kastle almost 27 years ago. It'll be 27 years in July. And at the age of 11 years old, or 20 years old, my memory kind of fails me, so maybe it's closer to 20. But at that time, Kastle was a managed service provider that was providing security as a service well before anyone ever thought of the term software as a service, or words like Google or even mobile phone existed for that matter. And today we're a leader in managed security for the commercial real estate marketplace. From 1972, when we were the pioneer providing access control and security to commercial real estate offices, today we secure about over 2,000 multi-tenant office buildings, about 37,000 tenants, with over 10,000 sites nationwide. We've won awards in the industry, and this year we were honored with being the SDM Security Integrator of the Year. We've won a couple of other security awards as well. We pride ourselves on being customer-centric, an innovator in the marketplace, a monitoring specialist, participating heavily this year with CSAA and with our 5-diamond certification. But a managed service provider, we gather about 4 million pieces of information per day from workplaces across the country. And we have countless conversations with customers, from building owners to IT and facilities administrators to end users. And through all of this input, we see trends emerge and collide with the needs in the regional markets, from the need for visitor management systems in the Northeast to like personal employee safety in the South, and the combination of logical and physical access in the technology corridors of the West. So the platform that we're going to present to you today, KastlePresence, has kind of emerged as a result of these market forces. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to our Director of Product Marketing, Nikhil Shenoy. And Nikhil will kind of walk you through this platform, explain what KastlePresence is all about. So Nikhil?
Hey, thanks, Tom. So again, welcome to the webinar, and thank you for your interest in our product. I just want to walk you through some background a little bit on why KastlePresence is right today. But if you have any questions, again, please go to the chat in the GoToMeeting session, and I'll answer all the questions at the end of the session. So I probably don't need to tell you this, but the mobile device is actually becoming humankind's primary tool, and that's from the MIT Technology Review. If you have a smartphone, something that might not occur to you right away is that the collective knowledge of mankind is in your pocket right now. And that's a big leap. A lot of people thought information was big when Google was there, but if you made a bar bet, you'd have to go home, Google it, and all that kind of stuff. Whereas today, those debates can be settled in the meeting or at the bar itself. So it's with you all the time. Mobile devices have truly become indispensable to individuals. You might forget your key somewhere, but it's very rare for someone to forget their phone. And if you do, people are very much attached to it. People actually check their phones upwards of 150 times a day, and this technology is growing in importance every day to businesses of all types. So Gallup estimates that 80% of all office workers have an internet-connected smartphone. But in our experiences rolling this mobile service out since its release in January, we're noting that in our customer base of primarily Class A facilities and workplaces, that number is actually higher than 97%. So the idea here is that now that we're dependent on our phones for more than just communication, smartphones are our go-to platform for business, social, entertainment, and commerce activities. So you might schedule a meeting in New York, read reviews on available hotels there, book your room and your flight, generate mobile boarding pass, and present that at security line at your gate. So these are all things that are bringing multiple functionalities into your phone to add that convenience. So we believe that it's only natural that the phone becomes your new key for accessing physical spaces. So a lot of you signed up for this webinar to answer one question: what is KastlePresence? So I'd like to introduce to you what it is. It's a smart office platform built on the latest mobile and Internet of Things technologies. So what that means is that it's a personalized suite of security and facility amenities built on these technologies for you and for your end users. The initial product release that we're coming out with has 4 major pillars. The first is hands-free access. So like I said, it's a foundational feature because we're building it on Kastle's legacy of 40 years as the leading access control provider, and it's the most used functionality in a building every day. People go through doors, secure doors, over a dozen times every single day. So we also offer personal alerts that connect you to the building, and I'll show you what that means for you, and also data that will make your life better in small ways. So some of these time savings and things are really what people think about as Internet of Things, and some people kind of wonder, what is the Internet of Things and why are we releasing this product now? So simply put, the Internet of Things is the concept of connecting any device with an on and off switch to each other, to the Internet, or both. It's the idea that physical objects can communicate and take action based on real-world data from sensors, networks, or user input. So in the past, you would be able to tell every single device in your house that was hooked up to electricity, your oven, your fridge, and so on. And people were very cognizant of that. But today, electric connected devices are ubiquitous and they're kind of everywhere. So a lot of the major players in the space, Cisco, Intel, and others, believe that the Internet is going the same way as electricity and that it's going to be everywhere. In the next 4 years, Cisco estimates 50 billion things will be connected. So whether you know it or not, again, these things are already improving your life. The 2 most salient examples here are Uber and Nest. But really, what are they doing? Whether it's hailing a cab, setting a temperature, parking, or depositing checks from your home instead of driving to the bank, these are all little things that add up to big time savings and make our lives better thanks to the innovations like I mentioned, so Uber, Nest, and all the other ones that are served through our phone. In addition to this functional improvement, we have more data as well. Our trip history is stored for weeks, for example. Nest tells us our energy usage and helps us reduce our footprint. And now we know our bank balances before we ever make a purchase because we can just look at it on our phone. And all of this is in the palm of our hands and useful for information that helps us save time and money. So what I'd like to do is have you think about what this location awareness could mean for you in your facility, especially in office places, but also in retail, entertainment venues, schools, and the hospitality industry. All of these are inspiring location-aware services. So if you look at those things that are available to you today that you see, imagine what that could be in your workplace. So imagine a world with automatic check-ins, destination dispatch elevator calls, or parking reminders as you enter the lobby. A building notification about food trucks that they deliver to you because you're on site. Little bits of information will help make your day more productive and delightful for you. So to facilitate these added conveniences, though, the right technologies have to be in place. So which technologies are enabling KastlePresence? So let's start with Bluetooth, a wireless technology standard for exchanging data over short distances. You're all likely familiar with Bluetooth and the exercise of pairing your phone with a Jawbone headset or your car or a wireless speaker, where you enter the code and enter the code again and then pair it. When you pair those devices, you're actually creating a personal area network. These are things that are connected to your phone. And that same concept is what we've applied to the workplace in KastlePresence. However, instead of pairing devices, it happens more seamlessly with a new technology called Bluetooth Low Energy, described here. So it's also abbreviated BLE. BLE fills the need of connecting devices that are exchanging small bits of data using very little battery power, whereas traditional Bluetooth, the one I mentioned about pairing, has been designed for streaming audio and video. But BLE is optimized for these kind of short, informal interactions. So in this picture, there are 3 major components of KastlePresence infrastructure. The BLE-enabled door reader on the left of your screen marked ABC Company, the KastlePresence app in the middle, and the BLE beacon, which is the white square in the bottom right of the screen. These relatively inexpensive wireless beacons, about the size of a deck of cards, broadcast a unique signal that indicates your micro-location of that device. So the phone takes that and interprets it and is able to kind of interact with it in a meaningful way. So it's a network of these BLE beacons and readers that enable the location awareness of KastlePresence. Access control technologies can serve as a backbone for occupancy data generation as well. Traditional card readers are now being supplemented with BLE reader modules like the one pictured on the left, enabling end users with the choice of using a traditional access card or a mobile credential. So to make sure that point is made, you can use both your card and your phone for access at KastlePresence door readers. Unlike BLE beacons, the wired BLE readers can send and receive information with mobile app users. So therefore, you're able to expand this network as a two-way method throughout your building. In places where you might not have cell phone coverage, you'll always have KastlePresence coverage. So one question that comes up quite a bit is why we settled on BLE rather than NFC, or near-field communication. So NFC isn't considered an enabling technology in the modern workplace, and there are two primary reasons why. First is that NFC penetration in smartphones is still fairly limited. iPhone 6 represents Apple's initial support for NFC, but it's only available for Apple Play. BLE, however, is more open and available on virtually all current smartphones. The communication range of NFC is also limited to within 4 centimeters of the reader, so you actually have to hold your phone up like a card anyway. BLE can be read from much further, up to 50 meters away, which gives us a much wider range of things we can do with it. So what does KastlePresence deliver? So with the mobile device and the app, in harmony with the BLE hardware I just mentioned and the connected systems that they work with, can deliver a new understanding of who, where, and when. This unprecedented understanding can be leveraged by the building or office ecosystem, setting the foundation for digital amenities, new conveniences, and differentiated workspaces, where people understand that your workplace is new and different than anything they've ever worked in before. The reason why we're able to build these now is because of affordability and the low cost of these sensors. Again, the availability across mobile devices. Interoperability, we're compatible with both iPhone and Android systems. And enhanced security. We have dynamic encryption built into the platform. Changing broadcast MAC addresses come from your phone and the BLE devices. And cloud security that protects your data. And furthermore, and probably the most important thing for the day-to-day user, is that BLE and KastlePresence are optimized for battery friendliness. You can use this throughout your day, and the battery impact is minimal. So getting into the product details a little bit of what's in it for you. The first and foremost thing that Kastle brings is security, and KastlePresence enhances that security for you. Smart buildings are focused on becoming safer buildings today, and the IoT platform can extend perimeter security all the way to the individual in their pocket. So, imagine you work late and your car is one of the last vehicles in the parking garage where there's no cell phone coverage. Would you feel better if you could connect with building security, or if you were startled by a noise or anything like that? You could try to call 911, but that requires a mobile signal. And when you do call, they'll have your GPS address. Finding you on exactly which floor and where you are can be a challenge. Another option is pushing a panic button, so your exact location is known. However, the responders don't know who they're looking for, and it's only available at pre-specified locations where they're installed. So hopefully you have access to it. KastlePresence is a third option that kind of blends these two. And what it does is it's a function that can be sent wherever you have BLE coverage. So extending the technology is cost-effective, and more so than, say, extending phone services into a garage or installing panic buttons throughout the facility, which can be very expensive. And now, instead of just knowing the building, responders can know your exact location within it, down to the floor and within the space level. So occupancy data only increases in value when you have meaningful participation by end users. App stickiness, so having people actually use the app, is derived by enhancing value at the individual level. And we see some clever approaches to delivering new conveniences for users across the mobile landscape. So in a KastlePresence building, amenities play an important role in building differentiation. They consume premium floor space and require ample capital to outfit, so things like a fitness center or a shared computer space. So how can you ensure greater use of these amenities that you're providing to your tenants? One approach that we've implemented in KastlePresence is to bring that data to their fingertips, allowing users to take a quick look at activity levels in these spaces via the building's app and empowering the user to make a determination of whether it's a good time to go and visit that space. So again, whether it's a gym, a shared conference room, or a computer resource in a school, or any secured amenity, KastlePresence helps the end user decide how to optimize their day and fully leverage the amenities that the building or facility provides to them. So we've seen how Kastle makes your space safer and smarter. So the most important thing and the most salient thing is the convenience of the experience. So the awkward fumbling for an access card in the bottom of your bag or trying to get your wallet that you carry in your back pocket within a range of a card reader is being replaced by digital credentials on your phone, pictured here. So a little convenience delivered as a hands-free access control for end users makes a big impact and a great impression for your space. So the key differentiator here that I want to highlight in this image is that Jennifer is approaching the reader and it knows she's coming towards it, so the door is going to open for her. So you don't have to take your phone out of your pocket, you don't have to push a button, nothing. The phone automatically knows where you are because of the BLE location awareness and opens the door for you. So imagine this applied in a parking garage. Today, if you have an outdoor parking kiosk, you roll down your window and it's a rainy day, you stick your hand out the window and your suit gets soaked right before your meeting, so you got to swipe that card or you got to pull your car closer. So now you can do all of that from your phone. It's just seamless and you just enter the lot. In addition, having a mobile KastlePresence credential has many benefits over a traditional card. The way we've created the system is that they're unlimited mobile credentials, so you don't have to pay for a new card or administer a new card every single time. There's also a photo ID on the card for added security and better personalization. And again, Kastle is a cloud-based access system, so you can manage the system from anywhere and from your phone. And kind of a knock onto that feature that's great is that system administrators can unlock doors in their facility remotely anywhere they are. So before, you might have had to log into a system and kind of Google things and press it right away. Whereas today, you could just go on your phone, authenticate using your fingerprint ID on Apple phones, and unlock doors right from your bedroom or from your home. And also, once KastlePresence is enabled across all your sites, and you have the infrastructure in place, your phone gives you access to all of your buildings. So we have one customer, for example, that has offices in 9 different cities, but now their partners and associates only have to have one phone app that gives them access across the nation. So it's a super convenient thing. So again, to summarize, KastlePresence aims to make your space safer, smarter, and more convenient. I think we've covered the innovation, the experiences, and the new services that are enabled by a network of BLE readers, beacons, and mobile security credentials. But I want to highlight again that the redefinition of the modern workplace experience is derived through bringing security from the outside of your building to where you are in your pocket, enabling a faster, smarter emergency response, and finally, the location-based awareness that gives you better insights about where you work and makes the simplest things like opening a door more convenient for you. So Kastle is extremely excited to bring the Smart Office platform to you and make your spaces safer, smarter, and more convenient. Thanks again for your time on signing up. And this offering, if I can say something, it has been so compelling that we've had a hard time keeping up with all the requests to see the Kastle technology in person. So for those interested in doing something like that, I'd like to offer you my personal cell phone number, so you can call me anytime at 703-887-3199 to arrange for an in-person demo at your office or answer any specific questions you may have. All right. So now we have Q&A through the mobile chat. If you don't mind, please enter your questions there. So the first question from Rashid is it possible to get this presentation sent to us as well? We have some materials that we can share. Again, please just send an email to info@kastle.com or call me at 703-887-3199, and I'll be happy to set you up with more information. Denise asked, is the mobile access available to everyone now? So the answer is yes. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, so you can go there, download the app today. However, you need to have the Bluetooth infrastructure installed in your space and the pre-authorization to make sure that people can actually use it. So if you do want the app today, call me or email us, and we'll let you know exactly what's required to get it. All right, we got one more question here. So, Tom, do you want to take this? The question is, concerns about doors being constantly unlocked due to a large radius. Does the system know when someone's in the space versus trying to get in the space?
Yeah, that's a great question. Here we've innovated a couple of different ways because this was one of the early challenges when we were developing this. It's true that there's a large radius initially, like on installation, but these readers are tuned to optimum levels based on the location of the reader, the walk up to the space to prevent accidental unlock. Additionally, there are multiple modes that the reader can be set in. So for a kind of one-way walk-up, we've got a mode that allows for a presence unlock the door from like a 3-foot kind of pattern. However, for more secure areas or areas where there could be cross traffic, we've got a mode that allows for the reader to be intentionally unlocked, meaning that you have to present the reader or the phone to the reader to unlock the door. And we're coming up with a couple of other modes of operation as well. Akil, do you want to add anything on that?
No, I think that's right. So we have another question here. So the next question, well, before I get to the next one, just making sure I tie off the last one on intent. Every single space is different. So as Tom mentioned, there might be hallways where you walk past the door quite a bit, and you don't want that door to open without holding your phone up to it. So we can configure the readers any way you need to, and we have other technologies out there, whether it's a fingerprint or a hand wave or tapping the icon in the device itself to open the door for you. So it's a highly customizable system. Okay, so the next question. IoT devices have been known for being insecure. Nest and light bulbs being some of these, as encryption had not been a priority in the past. What has Kastle done to ensure that the BLE devices, readers, and apps are all encrypted to ensure secure authentication? So, like I mentioned before, everything is served up through our cloud, and we have an API for our beacons that's secured based on the same technology we use to secure Kastle's data. Again, with the encryption and the peer-to-peer device encryption, these are steps that we've taken to make sure that the software component is safe. So the next question. What is the backup for when someone's phone has died? So if your phone battery dies throughout the day, again, the door readers are dual technology. So your old card will work. We also have something called a phone tag, which is a card that you stick to the back of your phone. It's a small kind of a size of a quarter, and that'll work as well. Okay, so Richard asked the time cost to install, and is it a one-time or a monthly service? So Kastle as a managed service is a monthly service organization, just like the most standard security systems. As far as the cost to install, it depends on your space, and the way that we base it is based on square footage. So the larger the space, the more it'll be, but the less per square foot. So we have a pricing model that keeps it in line. And again, the credentials and all the system management, all software upgrades, everything are included in the monthly subscription. So Tom, anything else to add on install and monthly costs?
No, nothing to add there. I was just reading the question from John Ladson about any plans to incorporate BlackBerry use. John, we've talked about this before, and I'm so glad you're able to join. No, there are no plans at this time to incorporate BlackBerry in the offering. Currently, we are providing access to Android and Apple phones, but I know that BlackBerry is also running on an Android platform now, so that may be confirmed as well.
Yeah, so the BlackBerry Priv is KastlePresence compatible. It's the latest version that runs Android. So Teresa asked, if our building is already set up with Kastle, would Presence be an additional cost to use? So yes, Presence is a subscription over and above a base Kastle system. Let's see. So the next question, actually, this is one near and dear to my heart from Brett. So interested in utilizing this from the perspective of emergency preparedness and headcount in the event of a building evacuation. Can you run through how that would work? Instantly knowing who was in the building, who left the building, and where the stragglers are located. So this is something we call mustering an emergency response. And this is something that we're working on right now that will be included with Presence in the future when it's finally available. The most kind of salient thing that we are in our product pipeline is something called an active shooter response system. And we're actually working with some prominent facility managers and emergency responders and how to make that system exactly right, get the information to where it needs to be, and how to save lives in those first 10 minutes between the time an event is launched versus the time the responders show up. So while we have that data available, one thing is that, you know, in the 99% of the case where nothing is happening, how do you maintain privacy and keep everybody's information private? So we have a very strict privacy policy in terms of keeping that information private and actually purging it after a week. So the only data we'll have for over a long period of time is you know, who accessed which spaces when, not where they were necessarily. So you won't know that I was in the cafeteria for 3 hours, for example. All you'll know is that I went in there at a certain time.
But we will know in an anonymized way, like we will have a head count, per se, of how many people have gone through that area regardless. So what we don't have, or what we have chosen to anonymize are the particular names in that environment.
Yeah. So if you need any more clarification, please put it into the chat here. So the next question is, with smart wearables becoming more popular, is it already possible, or are you working on having the app work on smartwatches, etc.? So the current smartwatches that are out in the market, Rashid, they're very closely linked to your phone anyway. So if you leave your iPhone at your desk and walk far away, the smartwatch doesn't have all of what it necessarily takes to provide a full access solution, unless your phone's near there anyway. So, you know, we do have wearable strategies out there, and we're looking into how that technology is evolving, and we're staying on top of that trend. The other thing with wearables is that the penetration isn't incredibly high. I think less than 12% of all users we polled had a smartwatch. So, you know, to develop something for a very small population, just, you know, we're staying on top of it so that when it is more penetrated, we'll be there for it. I got a couple more questions here from Brett. So the report would show X came in and Y went out. So that's exactly what we're working on right now, Brett, is that we can tell when people are no longer within the KastlePresence network, and getting that report out in the exact right way is exactly how we're focusing our efforts. Then the next question is, can we change that to show names if we request it to be set up that way? So I think what you're asking is, can you set it up to show names of people who exit the building? And that's something we're also looking at pretty closely, because today everybody knows when you enter the building, and when you exit the building, it's something that isn't explicitly collected because you don't swipe to get out of the building. So that's kind of a little bit of a gray area right now in the development of this whole thing.
Well, it's not at designated card reader entrances and exits where employees have in and out privileges, those names will always be available to you. So if we publish those exits, that name will always be available to you. What's at question is, because the range of Bluetooth can be beyond a card read, the idea of a person's privacy as they go throughout the office, within the confines of the office, is the part of the privacy policy that we're taking, where we're taking that data and anonymizing that to show you head count within the office confines. At portals where people come and go, that's a place where, just as it is today, just as card read activity is available for you today, it will continue to be available through KastlePresence.
Thanks. Just going through here again. Okay, so I think that's all the questions that we had. So thanks again for joining us this morning on the KastlePresence webinar. We hope you took something away from it. And again, please feel free to reach out to us for any reason and to answer any questions or schedule an in-person demo. Tom, anything else?
Oh, thank you everyone for your time. We're really excited about the platform and hope we get the opportunity to show you it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.